Hey, what's up everybody? It's Dixon, and this is the first edition of Dixon's Kitchen for 95X, brought to you by Tops Friendly Market. Today, I am going to make some grilled New York strip steaks alongside a grilled romaine salad. It's one of my absolute favorite summer dishes, hence why we're outside and we're gonna do this whole thing right here on the grill. Now, the reason I like to get all of my meat at Tops Friendly Markets is because they have butchers right on premise that cut 100% USDA choice beef, fresh in the store every day. Doesn't matter if I'm looking for a custom cut roast or a certain thickness on some steaks. Maybe I just need some expert advice on how to cook these steaks. Well, I can count on my butchers at Tops Friendly Market. Let's get to cooking. So the first thing we're gonna do is prep the lettuce for the grill. Now, romaine lettuce has an inherent sweetness to it that is only brought out by adding quick high heat to it. And it also gives you a depth of flavor in backing up that smoky grilled flavor that we're gonna add to that steak coming up in a few minutes. The first thing you wanna do is take this ugly part off the end, but ultimately you don't wanna cut the whole core off because we need this bad boy to stay together. So the first thing you wanna do is find any obvious bad spots like that, pull them off and get rid of those. That one doesn't look too fantastic either. So you don't want to cut through the whole core because we need this guy to stay together. So ultimately you want to take a very thin cut just to get that brown little piece off the end. And if it doesn't come off all in one piece, that's fine, because you can go back in and just kind of shave off all that. Now, I did already go through and prep this by washing it and letting it dry once again. So now we've got all the cruddy stuff off. We don't need any of that, and since I'm outdoors, it can just go out and feed the lawn. Now, the next step in prepping this is to find its flattest point, which is gonna be right there, and then essentially you just want a radial cut. You want this to be specifically in half, and I find that the easiest way to cut through a head of lettuce is to start down here where it's thicker at the core, and just let the knife do the work for you. You spin it, you find your original slice, lay your knife down, and then just drag it backwards through the greens. What we've essentially done is created two romaine halves. That one the birds can have. We've got our lettuce prepped, and we move on to step 2. All right, now it's time to get our grilled romaine going. Yes, and you heard me right, grilled romaine. So we've already prepped our romaine lettuce, ready to go, that perfect bias cut. Now here's the thing, you wanna put a little bit of oil on there because that's what's gonna attract the heat to the lettuce. I don't suggest using olive oil for this because olive oil has a very low smoke point, which means when you put it on the grill, it's gonna burn and then it's gonna add a burnt flavor to your lettuce. We don't want that. So I use canola oil, and I've got it in this handy little spritz bottle. So we're just gonna spritz down the bottom flat cut surface of the lettuce, and we're gonna go to our screaming hot grill. I've got this up to about 500 degrees, and this is gonna go very quickly. So your hot grill is very, very hot. Your oiled side is gonna go down, and you're gonna hear it sizzle right away. Lid down. 1, 2, 3, 12, 13, 14, 15. You take your handy dandy tongs, and you take that off. See, you've got some char on there. So let's do this second one quick. Same exact way. Spritz a little bit of oil and straight down onto the grill. Lid closed, and you count to 15. We'll do it in our heads this time. And 15. Lid comes up, tongs, and there we go. 2 perfectly grilled romaine hearts, halved on the bias, ready for the basis of your salad. So our romaine lettuce is grilled and ready to go. I've got all of the other things needed for it set and ready to go. That's called mise en place, which is French for the elements of your dish. Now, everything else that I have set up for this salad is easy for you to do at home. It's just cutting up some fresh sweet red onion and reducing a little bit of balsamic vinegar on the stovetop until it comes down to about 50% to create a balsamic glaze. These are things that are very easy, and I'll explain coming up in just a few minutes. But after all, we're making a salad, but the star of that plate is always the steak. Now, I am personally a fan of New York strip steaks. First and foremost about these steaks, they came from Tops. Your local Tops Friendly Market have butchers right in the store. They're cutting these 100% USDA choice steaks in store every day. They can do custom cuts for roasts, for steaks, no matter how thick or thin you want them. They've got the experts at your neighborhood Tops butchers. Now, when you're cooking any sort of meat on the grill, you want to let it sit out at room temperature, seasoned for about 20 minutes before you go to the grill. Speaking of seasoning, salt. I get it. It's got a bad rap. Your sodium level's getting checked by the doctor, but salt is an imperative point to cooking meat on the grill, because it's the salt that brings those proteins to the surface that give you that char, that caramelization, that ability to sear that locks all of the delicious meat flavor inside there. Now, these steaks are simply seasoned with salt, garlic powder, and onion powder. I don't use black pepper prior to cooking my meat on the grill because it burns. And again, like we learned with the olive oil, you don't want that burnt flavor in your food. Save that black pepper for when it comes off the grill. This is way too hot a situation. It will definitely burn, and it'll definitely ruin these beautiful steaks that I got from Tops. Now, first and foremost, I will put it out there into the world. I'm a black and blue guy when it comes to beef. I put it on, I get it nice and dark on one side, I flip it over, so that way when I cut it open, it's essentially raw in the middle. And I know that that's not everybody's thing. So today, we're gonna be aiming for somewhere between medium rare and medium, which seems to be the overwhelming favorite of America. So, ideally you want your grill as hot as it can go, and I've got mine at around 570 degrees right now. The ultimate thing for me when you're cooking on the grill is to get those perfect cross-hatched grill marks. I'm going to teach you how to do that right now. So let's take these beautiful steaks from Tops Friendly Market directly to the grill. So first and foremost, that grill is screaming hot. It opened up and sweat just poured right off of me. So you want that cross-hatch, you want that back and forth. So you want to take your steak, which has been seasoned, and you can see that fluid that has leached out? That's from the salt. That means that what we've done is right and proper. And we're going to take these and we're going to lay these diagonally across the hottest part of the grill to get that searing going. And you can hear that sear. And then we're just gonna wait 2 minutes. Now this is a salad that actually I saw on an old cooking show years and years ago. And I know the name of the show was Taste, but I don't remember what the host's name was. I wanna say it was David Rosengarten, and I'm probably wrong on that. But ever since discovering the salad, this has been one of my go-tos each and every summer, whether it's chicken, steak, pork. You can do the salad with anything, and you can use different lettuces as well. If you want to find a head of radicchio, that holds up very well on the grill, although I would say if you're using a heartier lettuce, those can stand a little bit more heat on the grill, which means a little bit more time to get to a desired degree of tenderness that you're looking for with your steak. All right, so step 2 of the steaks is here we go. Let's check and see how they're marked. Oh, and they're nice. So you want to get that crosshatch. So we're going to go to a different part of the grill and go in the opposite direction. And then just another 2 minutes and we'll flip them over. All right, so in order to keep a good medium rare medium on these steaks, it's time to flip them over. So grill up, check to see where we're at. Oh, and those are perfect. So we're gonna go over to this part of the grill that we haven't used yet. And again, on the bias. Look at those, perfect crosshatch. To me, that is what summer looks like. We're gonna give these a solid 2 minutes on this side, and we'll do it one more time where we turn them. Okay, so our steaks are almost ready to come off the grill, so let's review. Put them on the counter 20 minutes before you want to cook them. Have them fully seasoned, make sure you use salt. Now, when you go to the grill, screaming hot. For medium rare, I would say 3 minutes, turn it, get those cross hatches, another 3 minutes, turn it over, same process. You're cooking for a grand total of 12 minutes. It'll probably be closer to medium than medium rare at that point, but that seems to be more popular amongst Americans. So let's get our steaks. They're fully ready to roll. Great caramelization. And for me, if I'm gonna tell you one thing about cooking steak, whether it's on the grill or anywhere, it's important to rest them. You've gotta rest your meat. And you can do what you want with that. I would keep your mind out of the gutter though, because there's something very integral to the process of resting the meat. You ever take a steak off the grill, or a burger for that matter, you put it on your plate and you immediately cut into it, and then the juices run all over your plate. Guess what? Those juices are supposed to be locked inside your meat. And they're not now because you couldn't wait the 5-minute rest period. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let these steaks rest for 5 minutes, and then we're gonna build our grilled romaine salad with New York strip right here on Dixon's Kitchen for 95X in Tops Friendly Markets. All right, so our romaine is grilled, our steak is grilled. It's now time to go over the rest of the ingredients for this summer grilled romaine salad with grilled New York strip steak. All you really need are some nicely cut sweet red onions, shredded Parmesan cheese, and this is that balsamic glaze I was talking about earlier. So essentially all this is balsamic vinegar that I put in a pan on the stove, and I put over medium-low heat, and I let it reduce by half. Now don't get grossed out by this, but I'm gonna put my pinky in here just to give you an idea of the texture of this. See, it's sticky, it's not vinegar, it's not running everywhere. I've made a glaze simply out of the balsamic vinegar, and that is gonna become the dressing for this salad. So let's assemble, shall we? So we've got all of our ingredients. We've got a nice big plate, and this is really easy. Essentially, there's your grilled head of romaine. We're gonna go side by side with the steak because they're definitely, in my opinion, equal footing for this salad. All right, you take your red onions and you just break them apart. It's almost kind of like that wedge salad that you get when you go out that has the red onions with a wedge of iceberg lettuce, and I like to throw a couple of extra onions on just because I like a little bit of onion with my steak. Now with the balsamic glaze, it's gonna help make the cheese stick to the salad part. So this is very strong because remember, we've reduced balsamic vinegar into this glaze. So you don't want to go too heavy with this, otherwise it's going to overpower everything. But that seems about right. And if you want a little extra for the steak on the side, there'll be some at the bottom of the plate. I don't advise putting this directly onto the steak because it's going to probably cover up a lot of those flavors that we've developed over time here. So the last thing before you dive into this is grabbing yourself a good hefty dose of this high quality shredded Parmesan cheese to go directly over that salad. Now there are ultimately ways to make this your very own. If you don't want to use romaine like we discussed before, feel free to use radicchio. If you want to go into a completely different direction with this salad and do blue cheese and make it a wedge salad, I don't recommend grilling iceberg lettuce because that's just going to turn into a mess. But this is an easy summertime dish. In reality, including the prep time of the meat sitting on the counter, you can have this up and ready in under 30 minutes. Again, I sourced all of this from Tops Friendly Markets where their butchers work on premise every day with the freshest USDA choice beef. They'll cut anything you want right at that butcher counter. I had these steaks cut for me today, and I think, honestly, if you're out there and you're looking for an easy summer dish, and this is easy to make for a large group too, because you can pre-cook all the lettuce and get all your mise en place together, cook the steaks off, let them rest, and then everybody can sit down to eat a fantastic and fresh summer dinner, which I'm about to do in just a minute. Episode 1 of Dixon's Kitchen officially done, and now the best part, it's time to dig in. So today, again, we've made that delicious grilled romaine lettuce along with that perfectly grilled New York strip steak, and let's just cut right into this and see where we landed. I'm gonna guess it's medium rare, and I'm wrong. That's a perfect medium right there. Now, the reason I didn't chop the lettuce up is because for me, the best part of this salad is treating this lettuce just like a steak and cutting in there and getting a big piece of that lettuce with the balsamic glaze and the cheese and a little bit of onion, and then you get yourself a little bite of steak, and it's just a heavenly summer meal in one bite. Amazing. Thanks for joining me. Thanks to Tops Friendly Market for sponsoring this. Head to your local Tops Friendly Market, go to the butcher department, have them cut up anything you want. Tops Friendly Market is the place to be. Tune in soon for episode 2 of Dixon's Kitchen on 95X. Man, this is good.